The day was August 29th, 2016, a day that is forever seared into my memory. I was sitting in my sixth period band class playing my favorite piece, Amazing Grace by Frank DiCelli, and then my phone buzzed. That's odd. Who calls me in school? And it's an unknown number, so I pick it up and, Hi Chase, it's your mom's friend Sharon. We need you to come home as soon as you can. So me being me, I threw my phone back in my pocket and I booked it to my car and was ready to throw my keys in the ignition because I didn't know what could possibly be so important, and I get caught by the security guard. So I walk to the principal's office, that good old walk of shame, and I don't open the door to see my principal's face, but instead I see my pastor and the chief of police. They sit me down and the sergeant says, "I'm sorry, son. I regret to inform you, but today around 1 p.m., your father shot and killed himself in a hotel down the street." Time froze, and as I melted away into the puddle that was my own tears, I could only scream, "Why me? Why him? And why now?" As I melted away even further into a puddle of my own tears, I stared up and could see my guidance counselor staring back at me with tears flowing just as fast as my own. I ran to my car and threw my keys in the ignition. I went 85 miles per hour down a 45-mile-per-hour road because the only place I wanted to be was with my mom. And we hugged and cried for hours. The next day, we began making funeral preparations. Which flower this, which song that, but all I could focus on was the eulogy. Asking a 16-year-old son of the only man he ever loved to write the eulogy was the hardest thing that has ever happened to me. I stood as tall as I could, looking out at my siblings and my mom and my friends, and I gave the opening line. Though he was strong, he faced weakness. Though he could carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, there was no one there to carry him. Though I may miss him, he will forever live on in my heart. Imperfection is seen in society as something that we can't talk about, as something that we need to brush under the rug and keep hidden. But you know, if we opened up and we were honest and we talked about the problems we faced and seek counsel with others, maybe I would still have my father. Maybe millions and millions of people would still be with us because they didn't view their problem as a mountain that could not be passed over, but rather as a molehill that they just needed help climbing over. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, all things that create a negative connotation and redefine what it means to be normal and okay. But you know what? Mental illness is not just in your head, even though it is. It's a serious problem we all face every day. And it is a serious problem that when we seek help from others, we can find solace in front of ourselves. If we all stood tall and took a stand and decided to change the stigma of mental health, we could make a difference. If students didn't see going to a psychologist as a sign of weakness and didn't see seeking help as meaning they are incapable, maybe we would make a difference in this problem. Maybe we wouldn't look to our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our family, our community, and say, "Will you start writing my eulogy today?" Because when we stand tall and we stand hand in hand and we look to each other for help, we are unstoppable. And nothing cannot be overcome. When we stop seeing problems as mountains and start seeing them as speed bumps, we're able to move on. We spread his ashes near my childhood home in the creek that he loved so much. And then we took the hour drive up to the Teton Mountains where I was born, and what he always said was the most beautiful sight he'd ever seen, watching the sun rise while his son is being born. And as we climbed to the top of the mountain and let his ashes go into the breeze, I knew that we were sending him to heights that he could only have dreamt of in life. He was going to see things he always wanted to see and live things he always wanted to live because we were setting him free. I grabbed the biggest rock I could find and I drew an X on it, and I stuck the tag that came with the bag underneath that said Craig Walther, and I tied a note to the rock. And it said, "X marks the spot where the good times lie. X marks the spot where your life never dies." If you have been the victim of a mental illness, speak up, seek help. If you have survived a mental illness, speak up and help others. Because when we use the experience you already have combined with the help that we already need, every problem that seems like a Mount Everest is really just a speed bump we're trying to get over. If we all work together and we all stand hand in hand, mental health is an issue we can all get over, but we have to do it together. Thank you.